morning, Prime V Patriots. Today's a terrific Tuesday, April 27th.
22 more days until the end of the school year. That means today is E-Day in the ABC countdown to the end of the year.
For experiment. Check out this cool experiment.
This is the brand new Guinness World Record largest ever elephant toothpaste foam experiment. In today's video, which is partially sponsored by LastPass, I'm going to walk you through everything we had to go through to get to this point, as well as some really cool side discoveries we made in our hundreds of hours of testing along the way. The main ingredient for elephant's toothpaste is hydrogen peroxide. It's the same stuff you pour on a scrape to disinfect it. The thing is, the bonds that hold the hydrogen and oxygen together are pretty weak. So if we poured some of this in here and just left it for a while, it would keep releasing oxygen and eventually you'd be left with just water. However, if you add a catalyst like potassium iodide, you can make that slow process happen almost instantly. So that's cool, but we can make it way more impressive if we add one key ingredient: soap. So if we pour this in and then do everything else the same, now when the oxygen is released, the soap captures it, creating bubbles and foam. And then finally, if you do all that again, only now you add food coloring and use a flask that tapers like this, you can focus the expansion of foam so it looks maximum awesome. So in order to fill a pool with this stuff, I first got together with some friends and we spent literally hundreds of hours for a few weeks running experiments to calculate the best raw ingredient combinations, in addition to brainstorming other cool things we might do with it. And it was showtime.
3, 2, 1, go!
This one's called the Melted Unicorn. We wanted the foam to be safe to play in afterwards, so we used ordinary baking yeast as our catalyst. We could have bought yeast in big buckets, but it turned out it was cheaper to get them in 1-pound bags. The only downside to that is then you have to cut open 180 1-pound bags of yeast, but that's why we have Science Bob.
Come on out, they said. It'll be fun, they said.
This is an emergency tarp system, so if we did our math right, it shouldn't overflow. In the case that it does, we have these tarps here to contain all of the foam from not going everywhere in the yard. So we hope for the best, plan for the worst. We built these 3 frames for the tarps that would contain the catalyst yeast solution. So when it was time to fill the pool, we could just cut the tarps and it would pour out. The challenge here is this water's warm. We didn't build these containers big enough, so this will start rising. So it's sort of a race against the clock before it starts overflowing. We still have to add the soap, and then we have to add the food coloring. Okay, now we're adding the soap. This is what will actually make the bubbles. Soap isn't part of the reaction. 2 more soap buckets. Oh, as you can see, that bucket's filling up real quick. So after a few final touches, we were ready to go. 3, 2, 1. So the good news is, we broke the record. The bad news is, we're kind of overachievers. Uh-oh. It's coming up! The Great Tsunami! Hey, hold this.
Oh, goodbye, camera.
Okay, stand back off the tarp.
Oh, goodbye, camera.
Oh, we need to grab him. Stand back. Hold this up, Bob. Okay? Woo! we perfected the chemistry for this stuff. So if you want to make a home version you can play with, check out Science Bob's website.
E could also be for explored. Those are great words from Miss Greco as she explores different places around the world. Let's see where she has escaped to this week.
Hey Patriots, Miss Greco here with another episode of Where in the World is Miss Greco? So were you able to figure out where I was located last week? Did you figure out that I was in the country of Morocco? I know many of you did because I got your responses. Now some of you were really close, you were in right about the right region, but you just picked the wrong country. So this week's Where in the World was suggested to me by Landon in Miss Epifanio's class. And so Landon, now don't tell anybody where you said you wanted me to go because I don't want you to tell the rest of your class or give it away. So here are the clues for where Landon thought I should travel for this week. First, this country is located in Central Asia. So it's in the continent of Asia. And when we say central, we mean it's kind of in the middle. It's also the largest landlocked country. And when we say a country is landlocked, that means it is surrounded by other countries. And this country is actually surrounded by 5 other countries. One of the most interesting facts that I found out about this country that I didn't know is that they have the world's first and largest space launch facility. And actually, many of the staff members here might have remembered the name Sputnik that was launched in 1950s. Well, it was launched from the facility in this country. 2 other really interesting pieces of information that I found through my research is one, that scientists believe the first apple tree grew in this country over 20 million years ago. And even today, this country has apple trees growing all over. And lastly, the country's flag, which is one of the prettiest flags. It has a beautiful sun on the flag with 32 beams off the sun, and that represents progress and prosperity. So let me recap my clues and see if you can grab 1 or 2 of my clues to research and figure out where I am. So my first clue is that this country is located in Central Asia. It is a landlocked country, which means it's surrounded by other countries, and it is actually surrounded by 5 other countries. The world's first and largest space launch facility is located in this country, and in the 1950s, the very famous Sputnik was launched from this place. Scientists believe that the first apple tree grew in this country over 20 million years ago, and you can still find tons of apple trees all over. And lastly, the flag of this country has a sun with 32 beams, and that sun and those beams represent prosperity and progress. So Patriots, you're going to have to dig into your map skills and use my clues and some research to figure out where I am. Remember, that's the point of all this. Isn't just for you to yell at me when you see me in the hallway, hey, Miss Greco, where are you? But it's for you to figure it out, because I'm not going to tell you where I'm located unless you can give me a correct guess. So you have a great day, Patriots. Keep sending in your suggestions because next week I'm using someone else's suggestion as well.
Well, that was exciting. Thanks, Miss Greco. You know what else is exciting? Birthdays. Today we have one birthday. Happy birthday to Antonio V in Mrs. Govin's class. Happy birthday!
In lunch news for today, we are having PB&J sandwich, French market combo, and turkey and gravy with a biscuit. Vegetable and fruit choices are garden side salad, mashed potatoes, fresh grapes, apple juice, or juice.
This is our last week of April and our last week of our focus on the learner profile open-minded. We can't wait until we buddy up with our SBC friends to get to know you all even better.
That wraps up the news show for today, Patriots. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Have a terrific Tuesday.
And remember,
We are living the questions.
In person and virtually. Bye.
Bye.
bye.